Hello, just today's topic is the Vedas. Already we have seen the term Upanishad. Then also we have learned the evaluation of literature and script. Moving forward, now we are going to discuss the term the Vedas. The Vedas, what is the meaning of Vedas? The word Veda signifies knowledge, and the texts are actually about providing human knowledge. So what type of knowledge? That is the human knowledge. For what type of the knowledge? It is used to conduct their entire life on the earth and beyond that. So the Veda actually signify knowledge, that is the human knowledge, and it is written in highly stylized poetic style, and language is full of symbol and maths. And the Vedas are the source of integral wisdom, science, tradition, culture of remarkable civilizations. So, what Veda signifies? Veda signifies it is the source of integral wisdom. Science is also have a science term. We will see it. Traditions and culture of remarkable civilizations. They are oral compilations of distilled wisdom of cosmic knowledge survived from time immemorials. They are not only identified as scriptures but also the fountainhead of Indian culture and human civilization. Here, the term the Veda, next, the text of Veda is preserved in its pure and original form without any alteration or interpolations even after thousands of years. Here, the two terms, that is the Shruti and Smriti, that is always come in exam. What is the difference between them? Let's discuss first the Indian civilizations. In the Indian literatures also, there's always terms that are traditions oral traditions. A large portion of ancient Indian literatures is a manifestation of the spoken word, and it belongs to the oral tradition as far as its preservation is concerned. So the large portions of ancient Indian literature, it is a part of the spoken word, and the Vedas have been preserved without the loss of a single syllable through a complex and intricate system, of recital down the centuries. And the writing was introduced much later in the Indian history due to the influence of the foreign scholar. Always remember, the writing was introduced much later in the Indian history. Before that, the only terms what the guru has told to the disciple the same thing without the loss of any single syllable, just transferred to their disciple. So from there, it's reached to the current form, and the written form is introduced much later in the era of the British regime. For authenticity, we are just assuming that it is introduced in the British regime. Why the British courts at the time do not believe in the statement of the native witness, so they started term writing it. And here you have the one thing, just remember, the Western civilizations is a book centered. Western civilization is book centered, whereas the Indian civilizations have the term the Shrutis and Smritis. The term that is the Shrutis and Smriti. The part that term here the written tradition in Indian literature started with the modern period, since almost all the writers are literates. They start writing it, the term. But before that, the the part that is used that use the term Shrutis and Smriti. Let's discuss what is the Shrutis. The Veda have been transmitted from generation to generations through oral traditions, and these is called the Shrutis because they were recited and heard, not written and read. So what is Shrutis? That is the term that were recited and heard, not written and read. Here the term, the next part, that is the Smriti. Shruti means what has been heard, whereas Smriti means what has been remembered. The sacred text in Shruti is the divine origin and it's at the authorless, where the Smriti texts are the derivatives, works, or product of the human intellects and are attributed to an author. What is remembered, that someone told it, and just to have write down in term of literature's part. Those come in the form of Smritis. Smriti is broadly classified into four categories: Vedangas, Upvedas, Upangas, and Darshanas. Whereas the Smritis are part four Vedas. Let's discuss each Veda one by one. Here the figure you have just seen, the Veda have divided into four parts: Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Sham Veda, Athar Veda. Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Sham Veda, and Athar Veda. And let just discuss the part first. What the term Veda signifies. Veda signifies that the knowledge, human knowledge, you already learned about this. And before moving to the part that is a Rig Veda, Athar Veda, Sam Veda, Yajur Veda, here there is another term that is a subpart. All Veda, that is the Rig Veda, also have a four subpart. Athar Veda, Sam Veda, Yajur Veda also have this subpart. These are Samhitas, Brahmanas, Aranyakas, and Upanishad. Already we have made a video about Upanishad. So here we are going to discuss all three. Samhitas. What is Samhita? In Vedas, Samhita contains the books of hymns. It contains the entire hymns. These contain the Vedic hymns composed by the sages in Sanskrit language, and these are the original creations. These hymns were orally transferred through generations. Every Veda has its Samhita. For example, in the Rig Veda Samhita, there are 10,552 mantras. And this part, Samhita, constitutes the main portion of each Veda and consists of the certain number of mantras mostly presented in the metrical form. And here there is this example that Rig Veda Samhita contains 10,552 mantras. Here the four devtas that are Indra, Agni, Varuna, and Mitra have been given the pride of place in the hymn. All the hymns that given the place of Indra Devtas, the Agni Devta, Varuna Devta, and Mitra. Nearly 1/3 of the mantras are addressed to the Indra and 1/4 to Agni. This is the complete parts of the Samhitas. So what you have learned in Samhita, it's contained the hymns. And all the hymns, or most of the hymns, all of the hymns, that is part of the text, that is part of the Vedas. It contains the main portions. And now the next segment, that is the Brahmanas. Brahmanas contains explanation of hymns. These explanations were crafted by sages so that the Vedic knowledge could be comprehended and used by mankind. These are elaborate prose texts. So always, where Samhita contains the hymns, where Brahmanas have the elaboration of that hymns. And Brahmana just advocate karma mark for attention of salvation. Now the next segment, that is Aranyakas. The term Aranyakas is derived from the word Aranya, that means jungle, that is a forest. And the Aranyakas texts are so called because they were walked to be read in the forest, and where the Brahmanas read in the village. If you remember the unit 1 context, where are the different Grihastha ashram, there are the 4 ashrama. In the Grihastha ashram, the second stage, the one have the families. At the times they live in the village, and the time they read the Brahmanas parts. Aranyakas, Sannyas Margas, there are another segments of ashramas, and the third and fourth that part contain they read the Aranyakas. And what is the major content in the Aranyakas? that is the theosophy, that is Brahma Vidya, meditations, upasana, and knowledge of breath. Knowledge of breath, that is the Pran Vidya. That is a part Aranyakas take a philosophical approach while discussing a yasana. But different yasanas are mentioned here. It inquiries into the philosophical aspect of yasana. And Aranyakas are considered as the bridge between Brahmanas and Upanishad. It always says that it bridge between the Brahmanas and Upanishad. And that part, due to the philosophical nature of this content, the Aranyakas are supposed to be learned from a guru in a, that is the secluded place, far from the human dwelling and crowded place of living, and thus learn it and bridge it between the Brahmanas and Upanishad. And the three terms that is remember here, major content is part of the Brahma Vidya, Upasana, and knowledge of breath. And already we have learned the Upanishad that contain the crux of Vedic knowledge, and different Upanishads we have already learned. So that now move to the first Vedas, that is the Rig Veda. The first Veda, that is the Rig Veda. The Rig Veda is the oldest Veda among the four. This is the oldest one. And what is the important terms that is contained? It consists of the 1028 individual Sanskrit terms. The focus of this Veda is on the worldly prosperity and natural beauty. It contains the worldly prosperity and natural beauty. And this text is organized in the 10 books. This text is organized into 10 books known as the mandalas. Always remember the Rig Vedas divided into the 10 books, that is known as mandalas of varying age and length. Each mandalas comprise of several suktas or hymns which are usually for the sacrificial purposes. And here you have just one term that is remember always, Gayatri Mantra. Gayatri Mantra is the part of the third mantra of Rig Veda. So Gayatri Mantra, Om Bhurvasva Tasavtur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimai Dhiyo Yana Prachodayat, that is the part of the Rig Veda. Gayatri Mantra is a part of the third mantra of Rig Veda. Here the entire Rig Vedic hymns are dedicated to the several deities, in particular to the chief deity Lord Indra. The other permanent gods mentioned in the Rig Vedas are Agni, Varuna, Rudra, Aditya, that is the sun, Vayu, and Ashwin. That is the Rig Vedic part. Now move to the next Veda, that is the Yajur Veda. And what is the meaning of Yajur? Yajur signifies sacrifice, and this Veda concentrate on the rites and the mantras of different types of sacrifices that were prevalent in the Vedic times. The word Yajur Veda is derived from the root Yaj, meaning the worship associated with the sacrifice. Worship associated with the sacrifice. And this Veda mainly focus on the yasana. So always remember, Yajur Veda focus on the yasana, and list of various yasana is found in this Vedas. So remember, if there is term yasana is there is descriptions and the list of various yasana that you can find in the Yajur Veda. The Yajur Veda is essentially a guidebook for the Advarya priest who had to do practically all ritualistic work in the sacrifices. And Yajur Veda divided into two branches, the Krishna and the Sukla. And that these Samhitas are also called, the Yajur Veda Samhitas are called the Vajrasvi Samhita and the Triya Samhita. So Yajur Veda, in the crux you can say, Yajur Veda is predominantly a ritual Vedas, where it contains the different yasanas and acts like a guidebook for the rishi of priest who conduct sacrificial rituals. Someone say that Just conclude the Yajurveda in a one complete sentence. So you say Yajurveda is predominantly, the Yajurveda is a sacrificial Vedas where the terms are mentioned, where the that is the different yajanas are there, and yajanas are there, the name of yajanas also mentions. It is sacrificial rituals that guides a book for the rishi and priest who conduct sacrificial rituals. Now the third Veda, that is the Sam Veda. Sham Veda has been named after the shaman, that is the melody, and it concentrates on the melody or songs. It derived from the Sanskrit root shama, that is indicate to please, pacify, or satisfy. Essentially, it refers to the singing of Rig Veda mantras. The mantras in the Sam Veda are typically referred to as a sama. So remember, the mantras of Sam Veda are typically referred to shama. It is a Rig Vedic mantra set to music. Sham Veda currently has three branches with Kutumba, Ranayanya, and Jamina. These are referenced in the Mahabhashya of Patanjali, Srimad Bhagavad Mahapuranas, and other sources which suggest that there were 1000 branches of Samaveda, indicating different traditions and versatile ways of singing the mantras. In a yajna, Samveda. So during the yajna, what is important of Samveda? Samveda used to please the devtas by singing mantras after making the offering. Yajurveda contained the yajanas, different name of yajanas, different listed there, and Samveda during the yajna, it's used to please the devta by singing mantras after making the offering. An important term is there. It consists of the hymns, detached verses, and 16,000 ragas and ragini. So it is known as the Book of Chants. It also shows how Indian music had developed into the Vedic period, and so it is known as the Book of Chanters. And the north come the actually there is a three. Initially there was three Veda. Kautilya's also mentioned the Trai. Later Atharvaveda was added. So now it becomes the four Vedas. So always initially the Trai refers to the three Vedas, excluding the Atharvavedas. These are Rig Vedas, Sham Veda, Yajur Veda. And the lastly, that is the Atharvaveda. It's deal with the consist of that magical potent mantras. It consists of the prescribed treatment of almost 99 cure disease. So remember the points. It mostly concerned with the peace and prosperity of human society and cover all aspects of man's daily life. It is especially focused on the treatment of several ailments. So Atharvavedas and its Upveda is Upvedas, that is the Ayurveda is the Upveda of Atharvaveda. So it consists the treatment of all disease. Gopata Brahmanas and Mundaka Upanishad belongs to the Atharvaveda. So you have remember Mundaka Upanishad, that phrase Satyamev Jayate is mentioned in the Mundaka Upanishad. Many times the question asked in the competitive exam, Satyamev Jayate is taken from Mandukya Upanishad, Mundaka Upanishad, that is the Kanopnisad and Kathopnisad. The question asked related to that. Satyamev Jayate is taken from the Mandukya Upanishad, Mundaka Upanishad, Kanopnisad and Kathopnisad. So the correct answer is Manduka Upanishad. And in the evolutionary theory of the origin of the society, that times the two terms that's predominantly used, that Sabha and Samiti, also mentioned here. That is the twin daughter of Prajapati. So, and the other Vedas you have already learned, it consists of the treatment of disease. Sam Veda, that is the musical notes, 16,000 ragas and raganis are mentioned there. And Yajurveda, that is the sacrifices are there, and there the yajnas are mentioned. During yajna, the musical notes which pray, and that also devoted to the devtas, that is mentioned in the Samveda. And Yajurveda, it's contained the natural viti's, that is the productive prosperities, that is consist in the